So following his win in the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight final, Mairis Briedis is indeed considering a move up to heavyweight. He said, quote, "It feels fantastic to have won the Muhammad Ali trophy. It feels like a dream. Me, my team, my family have been waiting for such a long time for the trophy. Thank God we did it, and I'm really happy about it. I was down after the Usyk fight, but looking back, I can see that a lot of things around me and in my team have changed, and everything has gone better since that fight. I really don't know if I would have won that night if my career would have advanced the way that it has. In the first rounds, I felt how dangerous Dorticus is, but I got used to his style, and in the later rounds, we didn't risk too much. We just boxed what we had prepared. I'm very satisfied with my performance. I hope I produced a fight for the Latvian fans to be proud of me. The fans couldn't be at the arena, but at least through TV, I hopefully brought them some emotions. It's a shame I could not share my feelings with my fans, and I hope the people who believed in me, who prayed for me, and who sent me very energetic and strong messages. But it feels amazing to show the fans that the trophy is finally in Riga after such a long journey. I am considering a move to heavyweight, but right now I will rest a bit before I make any decisions." End quote. Now, I talked about the possibility of this happening in my post-fight video for the Dorticus World Boxing Super Series final. And as I mentioned in that video, Mairis Briedis has had one brief appearance at heavyweight, and that was several years ago against Manuel Charr. And he knocked Manuel Charr out badly with, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, it was an uppercut. Manuel Charr is a legit heavyweight. He's a big man, and he's a pretty tough man. Nobody's ever done that to Charr in that fashion. I mean, he did get knocked out by Povetkin, to be fair, but the Mairis Briedis knockout, for my money, was even more devastating. So he has got, I think, as good a chance as any other cruiserweight stepping up to heavyweight, other than maybe Usyk. Because Usyk has a skill set, foot speed, etc., which set him apart from pretty much any of the other cruiserweights or heavyweights out there right now. But Mairis Briedis is a skilled fighter. He does have speed. He's not the quickest cruiserweight in the world, but he's fairly quick. And certainly moving up to heavyweight, that speed will be amplified when he goes up against the bigger men. And in terms of what kind of weight he would be at heavyweight as opposed to fighting at the 200-pound limit at cruiserweight, when he fought Manuel Charr, I believe he was around 213, 214. So I'm not one of these people who believes that these cruiserweights who move up need to bulk up loads and loads of extra pounds of muscle. I think that that's actually negating their natural advantages. You know, that's actually not making the most out of their natural attributes, which are going to be the speed and maneuverability against the bigger men at heavyweight. When you pile on all this extra muscle, it slows you down. It takes away a lot of that speed advantage. What's the point in that? Any, gains you might think you're going to make in terms of extra punching power and extra strength, look, you're never going to be as strong as a guy who's naturally 240 pounds and is a top level fighter. You're never going to be that strong. You're never going to be, as tall or as powerful, or it's never going to happen. So you work on what you do best. You accentuate the advantages you have over these big men. Now, Mairis Briedis, as I say, at 213, 214 when he fought Manuel Charr, that's probably his walking around weight. That's not him bulking up loads of extra muscle to get up to a certain weight when he fought Manuel Charr. No, that's probably his walking around weight. He's boiling down to get to cruiserweight, and then without the boiling down process, he probably weighs about 213 when he's in shape. So, yeah, that kind of weight, certainly no more than 220 for someone like Mairis Briedis if he's going to fight a heavyweight again. And in terms of his dimensions, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mairis Briedis is around 6'3" tall. His reach, I'm sure, is under 80 inches. It might be 77 inches or something like that, 76, maybe up to 78. But he doesn't have the longest arms in the world. He's going to need to use his feet, his boxing brain, and he's got a very good boxing brain at heavyweight. He's going to need to counterpunch a lot. And as I say, he's going to need to try and follow in the footsteps of people like Evander Holyfield. That's not to say Mairis Briedis will ever be that good, but that's what he has to shoot for. That's what he has to aim for, that type of style and that type of approach against the bigger men. You don't want to be getting inside against at least some of these bigger men and trading off too often. Yeah, you'll be able to do it here and there in spots, of course. I mean, that's how he dispatched of Manuel Charr with the tremendous uppercut. But as Evander Holyfield found out, you don't want to be staying in the pocket for too long with these big men. Holyfield found that out in the first fight he had with Riddick Bowe. And in the second fight, he moved a lot more. And that got him the victory, the revenge win. So Mairis Briedis will be very wise to take heed of Holyfield's experiences when he moved up. And to be fair, Mairis Briedis is a naturally bigger man than Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield was a light heavyweight when he was an amateur. Then he was light heavyweight in his early days as a pro, moved up to cruiserweight. But at the time, the cruiserweight division limit was like, 190 pounds? Later on, after Holyfield had made his transition, several years later, then they changed the cruiserweight. In fact, it might have been in the early 2000s when they changed the limit from cruiserweight, from 190 to 200 pounds. So again, Holyfield was a guy really who was coming up from 190 pounds, fighting guys who were 240, 250 and bigger. I mean, how big was George Foreman when Holyfield fought him in his first defense of the heavyweight title? How big was Buster Douglas? 240 something pounds when he fought Holyfield. And then Riddick Bowe was like 235 or something when he fought Holyfield the first time, and even bigger than that when he fought Holyfield the second and third times. So yeah, Mairis Briedis is actually bigger than Evander Holyfield, and some people are going to point out, yeah, he is bigger than Holyfield, but the heavyweights back then in Holyfield's era in the 80s and 90s, they're not as big as they are now. And that's true. So, you could say it's a comparable thing then, Mairis Briedis moving up to the heavyweight division. Let's see what he decides to do. When David Haye was fighting at cruiserweight, I was one of those people who would have actually liked to see him stay at that weight class for a bit longer, because he didn't have to deal with the height and reach deficit and the physical strength deficit at cruiserweight that he had to deal with at heavyweight. And we might have seen some much more devastating performances from David Haye. He didn't have to play it as safe against cruiserweights as he did against some of the bigger heavyweights. So I personally would have liked to see David Haye stay at that weight division longer. I understand why he moved up. At the end of the day, it's prize fighting and he wanted to make money. And on top of that, David Haye said from very early on when he was a young boy that his ambition was always to be the world heavyweight champion. Not the cruiserweight champion, the world heavyweight champion. So I understand that ambition and money, were the motivating factors for David Haye abandoning the cruiserweight division without really having any type of serious and long-term reign as world champion in the 200-pound division. So anyway, let's see what Mairis Briedis does. Let me know what you guys think. How will he fare at heavyweight? How do you see him doing against some of the top heavyweights out there? Let's say Mairis Briedis moved up and fought, Povetkin, Luis Ortiz, took on a Dylan White, and even the big boys, the AJs, the Furies, the Wilders. How do you think he'd fare against any of those guys? Do you think it's best for him in terms of career success to stay at cruiserweight for now? Or since he's, won the World Boxing Super Series, maybe just try and become undisputed, then move up in the very near future? Or maybe you think he should just forget about heavyweight altogether and try and carve out a legacy for himself in the 200-pound division? Let me know what you guys think. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.